Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust saw a surge in investor interest after March. Next on your 4-Minute Bitcoin. Today's show is from a post at Cointelegraph and brought to you by BitBlockBoom. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is an investment tool that aims to provide indirect exposure to Bitcoin for investors in traditional markets, and it reported a significant increase in how many shares it issued between Q2 and Q1 of 2020. According to an August 7th filing with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the trust issued more than 87 million shares in Q2 of 2020, compared to the total of 133 million shares issued for all of 2020. The trust issued almost 90% more shares in the second quarter of 2020 compared to the first. This also represents more than a six-fold increase when compared to the first half of 2019, when only 23 million shares were issued in total. Net assets increased by $1.6 billion in Q2 2020 to a $3.5 billion total. Now, about half of this growth came from the appreciation of the Bitcoin that was held by the trust, accounting to 386,720 Bitcoin. Now, that's as of June 13th. At current market prices, it would be worth $4.4 billion. Grayscale is often criticized for the impossibility in redeeming the trust shares. Some institutions and accredited investors are able to purchase shares at their true value as determined by how much Bitcoin is in the trust, how much it's holding. However, doing so requires a minimum 6-month waiting period as the shares in the trust are locked up. The GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, has consistently traded at a significant premium over its net value, meaning that investors are overpaying to gain indirect exposure to Bitcoin. In addition to the lockup period that limits potential arbitrage plays, some have noted there's no mechanism to balance the trust shares prices should they trade at a discount. According to Y charts, the premium generally stays around 20%. However, it saw considerable dips to 10% in April and June of 2020, potentially signaling the presence of arbitrage players. However, given that the premium returned to mean values, it's unlikely that arbitrage accounts for the entirety of the trust's growth. Some of these issues may explain community excitement for a Bitcoin ETF. In addition to potentially trading on well-known exchanges, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, also see a daily arbitrage of their share price compared to the value of their asset, ensuring that their prices track their underlying assets. So what do you think of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust? Were you familiar with it before now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And this episode was brought to you by BitBlockBoom, the great Bitcoin conference that I'm bringing to Dallas, Texas in August. And I say Bitcoin because Bitcoin is all we talk about at BitBlockBoom. We don't talk about altcoins. We don't talk about crypto in general. We just talk about Bitcoin. So if you're interested in Bitcoin, take a look at bitblockboom.com. I hope I get to meet you in person at this year's BitBlockBoom in Dallas. I'm Gary Leland, the Bitcoin Boomer, and thanks for joining me on this episode of the 4-Minute Bitcoin Show. This is a bitblockboom.com production.